Hey, good morning. Chillie here from Chillie's Cruises, and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News. This would be volume number 69. Glad you stopped by this morning. Again, before we get to the news, most of you guys know that I do like to go straight away to the information that I'm bringing for you today, but do have some business we want to clear up. One, I did the Thursday broadcast as a video, and I know some of you didn't like the fact that it had elevator music in the background, but so I apologize for that. But anyway, I like doing it that way as opposed to the live broadcasts that are, to me, are totally screwed up. When Google decided to do away with the Hangouts Live, that completely crushed the area that we were using to do a live broadcast and to do interviews on a live broadcast. So that's been difficult, at least as far as I'm concerned. So now with what's left using to do a YouTube live broadcast, I never know for sure if, number one, I'm live. I still don't know if my chat is working, which I'm hoping Bubba is, when he gets done feeding the dogs this morning. Bubba is the only other person in the world that's awake at this ungodly hour. There's Bubba. Yes, he is there. And so chat is working, and it does show up on my side screen, but does not show up on the live screen. So that has not changed. Okay. So hello, Bubba. Glad you joined me today. You must have already finished feeding the dogs and cats. But anyway, I'm really seriously thinking about going away from doing the live broadcast because it's a pain in the butt now. It's not easy to do. It used to be we could just go live and done. Although I was able to promote things this morning that I have not been able to promote, as far as putting notifications up that I'm going to be going live. So I've got that feature back. I don't know. I'm just, I'm really thinking about, now, hey, Bubba, you just popped up on my screen over here on my regular screen that Bubba and Princess have been fed, and all the cats. That's good. Glad to know that. Bubba and I are both animal people. As a matter of fact, Brat the cat is about this morning and may be stopping by for a visit. I'm hoping that happens soon. But anyway, I'm thinking about going to doing these broadcasts as a video like I did Thursday, because it gives me the option of having multimedia. I can do videos and slides and stuff in the background. So you're not looking at the big fat guy who's sitting here in a t-shirt and talking about travel and cruise industry news. I have not decided that. I welcome any of your feedbacks, those of you that might catch this live. And again, because of the unknown factor still, I'm doing this at 6 a.m. as opposed to 10 a.m. when I'm supposed to do it. By 10 a.m., and of course, it'll be a video on YouTube. So I really have mixed feelings about whether to continue doing this live or to do it as a video. So welcome any feedback. You can stick it in the chat. You can stick it in the comments when this thing is up as a video. I welcome each and all of your inputs in this. When I do go to Kentucky, which is now the 20th, and get a chance to sit down and talk with my son, who is vastly more experienced in this area than I am and has a whole lot more knowledge, plus does his own show once a week. that maybe maybe we can make some decisions and come up with a better way. Okay, so much of wasting time this morning and ranting a little bit about me not knowing what I'm doing, which of course is obviously normal for me, just ranting. Anyway, all right, we got some stories to get to today. The Carnival Horizon Sky Ride has been closed. You remember 10 days ago or so, they shut down the Carnival Vista Sky Ride, a very popular feature. And we questioned then what was going to happen with Horizon. And of course, you got Panorama that's under construction, which is supposed to have the Sky Ride also. But now the Horizon has been shut down until further notice. The guests who were booked on the sailing this morning, received an email stating that the Sky Ride would remain closed until further notice. The cruise line has not gone into detail as to why the unexpected maintenance is needed, but this will disappoint many guests who are looking forward to trying out the innovative feature. Here's what Carnival said, and this is a direct quote from the email sent out to passengers that were sailing today. Sky Ride has been closed for unexpected maintenance. While we are making every effort to complete any recommended work as quickly as possible, will remain closed until further notice. We apologize, yada, 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 typical Carnival language. So there's obviously some kind of problem with this thing. I mean, it's a neat feature. I'm not sure that my fat butt would ever get up on the Sky Ride and pedal around, 150 feet up in the air. But that's me. A lot of people like it, and I could see getting up there and the views and so forth would be worth doing it. I also understand the weather aspects of it. If it's windy, if it's raining, you don't want to do it then. But under good weather, I could see that. So apparently there's a further problem, and they're just not really talking about what the problem is. But anyway, it's been shut down. Sorry about that, folks. So now we got two ships that have the Sky Ride, and both of them have shut it down. And who knows if this is a permanent thing or if, in fact, they will be able to fix it. Let's hope that they can. Okay, next story, while we're talking about Carnival, and this is also, I hate to keep piling bad news on Carnival. The Fantasy, who happens to be one of my favorite older ships that I've been on. I think I've been on Fantasy 3 times. But it failed its most recent health inspection. According to a report obtained by my friends over at Cruise Radio, the cruise ship sails out of Alabama Cruise Terminal in Mobile. It scored 77 out of a possible 100 points during the July 18th health inspection as part of the CDC Prevention Vessel Sanitation Program. A score of 85 or lower is considered failing. According to the report, violations include visible film on top of water at the ship's main pool area, water leaking into covered containers of food, and soiled bowls, cups, and cutlery, among other infractions. I've dealt, in my concessions business, I had to deal with health department folks for years. And they're never popular folks because they have the ability just to flat ass shut you down. I always looked at it that, man, you just got to do what they want done. They're there for a reason, and it's a good, healthy reason. And for a cruise ship with as many people as there are on a ship, for them to fail, that's bad. That is really bad. They say, the Carnival folks say that there were was improper and incomplete training of new personnel. Well, okay, but training of new personnel, somebody there should have been able to see the problem that was creating this situation, these situations, and done something about it. So I'm not sure I agree with Carnival's answer to that. But anyway, that's something that Carnival definitely needs to address. And thankfully, this isn't a widespread thing. The last report I saw was how many of their ships had passed. And that was not more than 10 days ago or so. It was a report out about that. So the Carnival Fantasy failed a health department inspection. Now, I don't know what they do, what the CDC does. A health department, if they get you, like in my situation on a concessions trailer, you're given so much time to correct the issues, then they come back and check you again. And then if you get a clean bill of health, you're given a clean bill of health. If you don't fix the problem, then they can shut you down. I've seen businesses actually completely shut down. I've seen concessions folks literally have to leave the venue where they're set up to sell whatever the product was. Mine was funnel cakes and lemonade. But anyway, I've seen that happen before. I'm not sure what happens on the back end of a cruise ship failing if they schedule another inspection in 30 days or something. I don't know. But anyway, not a good sign. All right, and another very sad story. A passenger has gone overboard on one of Princess Cruise Line ships, which is currently based in Shanghai. According to the Princess Cruise Line site, a 45-year-old Chinese man jumped overboard from the Majestic Princess cruise ship, which is operated by Carnival-owned Princess Cruises. At the time the man went overboard, the large Royal class vessel was about 60 nautical miles from Jeju Island in South Korea, located south of the mainland. Princess Cruises has confirmed that the guests went into the water around 7:48 p.m. Chinese time. The man was seen jumping overboard when they checked out their security camera footage. His wife was on board at the time, and apparently this is a suicide situation as opposed to any untoward behavior on other passengers' part. But anyway, sad situation. In all my cruises, I've never been on a cruise ship that had something like that happen. Okay, now let's get to some stories that are a little bit more pleasant. Ponant is a company that I actually don't deal with much in my travel business, although they've been out there for a long time. But I don't promote. I haven't at this point promoted any of their stuff. But anyway, Ponant has confirmed that it's reached a deal to purchase Paul Gauguin Cruises, which will continue operating under its own brand. Paul Gauguin will remain an independent company headquartered in Washington State. And they will continue with their cruises in Tahiti and the South Pacific. They base year-round in Tahiti. They offer a very luxury product. Those of you that have been on it, it's a little expensive for my taste, but man, the people that go that have sailed with them love it. So Ponant has picked up Paul Gauguin. Interesting little change of effect there. A lot of you have probably seen stories and headlines about that says most of the headlines are in terms of Italian government bans large cruise ship from entering Grand Canal in Venice, or cruise ships are banned from Venice. That's not true, and it was actually created from a statement that was made by a travel ministry person in the parliament over there. I mean, he was an official person, but his original statement was dealing with what the protesters want, and that's banning cruise ships from Venice. Now, the truth of the matter is that a bunch of news people jumped at that and didn't listen to the rest of what the man said. They're not going to ban cruise ships from Venice. Number one, Venice, I made it sound like the cruise ships were going into the canals. The cruise ships aren't going in the canals. They don't fit in the canals. Those of you that have been in Venice know the size of those canals. Also, those of you that have been to Venice, there's a bridge that goes across from the mainland to Venice. And if you're looking at Venice from south to north, over to the left of the bridge is the cruise port. It's not in the area where all the tourists go, where the canals are, where you ride the gondolas, where you got the bridges and you got the food and the wine tasting and all that stuff. The cruise port, I mean, that's there. Now, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be probably a limit put on the number of ships that can come in at the same time. There could be some changes in that way. But that's just managing the port. You're still going to be stopping in Venice. And yeah, the cruise port is a couple miles away from the main tourist area. But the reports sure didn't sound like that. They sounded like the cruise ships were right in the middle of the canals, and that's just flat not true. So, yeah, they're going to be doing some changes, but you're not going to be stopped from going to Venice. That's not going to happen. There's number one, there's not ports close by that can handle the large cruise ships. There's a great solution to this problem, but it's going to cost Venice some money, and that's to be able to provide enough power at the dock to go to the ship, so they don't have to keep the engines going while they're in port, and that would eliminate some of the smog and stuff. And of course, the changes in the business on going to better burning fuel cruise ships will help that situation as well. But that's still years away before it's widely accepted. The other thing to remember about this and I can't remember the figures. I'm thinking it was something like 12 million tourists a year go to Venice. Only 1 million of those are coming on cruise ships. So we're not talking about a major amount. The rest of the people come across that bridge, either by train or by bus. So things need to change in Venice, as they do in many of the European ports. They need to be improved, but they're not banning cruise ships. So as much as I'll fuss at the cruise lines for things like Carnival Fantasy health department inspection, this is not one of them. I mean, yeah, they need to make things better, but this is not one to blame on the cruise lines. So that story was fake news. I get aggravated at fake news. I get turned off by politics on both sides. I'm not making a political statement, folks. Don't get me wrong. Doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left, Republican or Democrat. Both sides put out fake news constantly, and it drives me ding-dong nuts. But now we're getting fake news in the cruise industry. That's ridiculous. So, man, I'm on a rant this morning. Holy cow. So, let's see. The other thing that I wanted to at least talk about this morning, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, whatever that thing, NOAA, yeah, that's it, Atmospheric Administration, has announced that, of course, we're in the hurricane season. And they're saying that the conditions are more favorable for above normal hurricane activity because El Nino has ended. Now, I never have understood the El Nino business, but so far this season, there's only been 2 named storm, which is light by here now. We're into August. August through October is the remainder of the hurricane season, and I guess what they're saying is that, look, the conditions are more favorable for that activity to pick up. So I just point that out, folks. If you're planning a cruise in the Caribbean, especially in the short term, be more aware of the hurricane situation. Now, originally, and it's something that I have talked about before, I know some of you book cruises at this time of year in the hurricane season, that you're rolling the dice and gambling a little bit because you can get cruises cheap in the Caribbean, but you're running the risk of a hurricane. I have done that many times, where I've booked a cruise this time of year simply because I can save some bucks, and I've just run the risk of getting stuck with a hurricane. And it's happened once. One time I got stuck in a hurricane. I was out of New Orleans, but I've saved an awful lot of money over the years. So anyway, that wraps that up. Let's see what's now that I'm back on where I'm not looking at my copy. I'm at back where I can see the screen and see if Bubba had to say here. Chat is working. He's talking about the sky ride. I'd worry about the roller coaster on the Mardi Gras. That's a good point, Bubba. The Mardi Gras coming out has got a roller coaster. Is that going to have issues similar to this too? That's a very good point. Bubba's been on the Fantasy a couple times before, and saw a roach during the galley tour. Ooh, that's not good. Man, Carnival needs to get their act together. Did you work county and state fairs? No, Bob. When I started off in the concessions business, a long time ago, 30 years or so, I've been cooking funnel cakes and lemonade. I specialized in sporting events. So, for years I did NASCAR races. I did Washington Nationals baseball organization. I was on the road constantly. Football, college football around Virginia. I did JMU for 10 or 11 years. This season coming up, this fall, will be my 20th year doing Liberty football games. But now in semi-retirement, that's about all I do anymore is at Liberty, because it's 5 miles away from where I live, so I don't have to travel. But the thing I found against doing fairs, back when I first started, I booked a fair not too far from here in Virginia, and I had to send out this horrible deposit. I mean, like a couple $1,000s, 7 months in advance to book my space in the fair. And I pulled my trailer in there on the first day of the setup day of the fair, and there were 7 other funnel cake vendors and 12 other people doing lemonade. So I didn't like the competition. Doing the sporting stuff that I did over the years, I didn't have any competition. There wasn't anybody else doing it. It was me. So that made a big difference as far as my business went. But anyway, that was my life. And the reason I got in this concessions business to start with was my girlfriend and I wanted to go on a cruise. And that was our way of raising a little money on the side, was to book our cruise. And that was my first cruise back in Oh, no, 78. No, so I didn't. Wasn't my first cruise. That was about my third cruise. I started the funnel cake business to make money to go on a cruise. So yeah, now I've been on 18. So made some money over the years selling funnel cakes. I've heard that Juneau is building facility to power the ships while in port. John, electrical plugs. Yeah, that's what they need to do in Venice. They need to provide enough power source so that when the ships are in port, they can shut the engines down. And yeah, there's going to be a cost to that. Anyway, that's about it for today. Again, folks, I'm not making any changes as far as our schedule, other than doing like today, where I went at 6 a.m. instead of 10 a.m. And this will be up as a video by the 10 a.m. hour. Let me know your thoughts about whether I'm doing it live and you're just sitting there looking at the big fat guy, or like I did the Thursday with the video that I had some slides and stuff in the background. And yeah, I forget who made the comment. They didn't like the elevator music. Okay, it's next time I'll do it without the music. That's okay. As always, we post videos regularly on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you'd like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, my interview show's called Chillie Chats, which I'm not sure how to do now without having the Hangout live thing anymore. So I haven't even tried to schedule. I wanted to get my friend Bruce to do a show with me, but right now the only thing I've got is Skype, and then you have one person on the screen and one person in a little square up at the top, and I hate that look. But anyway, still don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But then our regularly scheduled travel and cruise industry news, which is on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 10 a.m. or whenever I go live, because of again, this morning I went live early because I was not sure if I was going to be on the air or not because of the new system. Bubba just asked Facebook Live. That's one of my options that I wanted to try, and I may do that if I can figure out how to promote it. Now that I figured out how to promote YouTube Live now again ahead of time, to do a Facebook Live and then transfer that over to a YouTube video and upload that. So that's a possibility. That's a good suggestion, Bubba, and that is one that I am looking at. But anyway, I was giving my commercial thing there. Anyway, so whatever, hit the little subscribe button. That's the main thing. What do we have? 1,438 subscribers as of this morning. Hit the little bell notification system and you'll get notified when I'm going live or when I've posted a new video. I do have a video that's going to be coming out maybe sometime later today on the Carnival Spirit that's been in Australia forever, and it's going to be doing the Alaska sailing season in 2020. But anyway, that'll be out sometime this weekend. But anyway, that's it for now. As always, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't matter. As long as you're telling YouTube that you're out there, I'd appreciate it. So much for now. Good heavens, I've gone on for 30 minutes. The old fat guy did a lot of ranting today. This is Chillie, the Fat Travel Guide. We'll talk to you real soon. Later, y'all. Okay.